Panagiotis, Takis, Vassilakis Beta Alpha Sigma Iota Lambda Alpha Kappa Eta Sigma, born October 25, 1925, in Athens, is a Greek artist popular in France. His works can be found in many public locations in and around Paris. In the exhibition brochure for the Fourth Dimension at the Menil Collection, Houston, Texas, Toby Kamps writes, Takis is world-renowned for his investigations of the gap between art and science. Since the early 1950s, he has explored new aesthetic territories, creating three-dimensional works of art that incorporate invisible energies as a fourth active element. Takis, who describes himself as an instinctive scientist, employs powerful elemental forces to generate the forms, movements, and musical sounds of both his static and kinetic works. Takis's family and early life were extorted by the German occupation during the Second World War and the Greek Civil War that followed it, and he received no formal education in art. Instead, living and working in Paris, New York and Athens, he synthesized a broad range of ideas and experiences, from intensive scientific research to ancient philosophy and Zen Buddhism, to encounters with other artists and writers, to forge a unique, category-defying vision that continues to evolve today. Time, space, energy and even political activism are primary materials for Takis' life and work. 1940-1950-1936-1941. His childhood and teen years coincide with the dictatorship of Ioannis Takis and the Axis occupation of Greece. 1942-1946. His political involvement as leader of the PON results in a 6-month prison sentence. He discovers Picasso and Giacometti, starts creating plaster busts. 1950-1960-1952. Together with Minos Argyrakis and Raimondos, he builds a small studio in Anacasa. He creates the Katros Soldats, a plaster sculpture depicting 4 marching soldiers. Participates in the first international exhibition in Delphi. 1954. Departs for Paris, discovers Egyptian sculpture, starts making sculptures out of forged iron, Oedipus and Antigone, Sphinx and Eidolon. 1955. Influenced by the invention of radar and the technological landscape of the station at Calais, he constructs his first first one-man show abroad, Figures of Plaster and Iron, at the Hanover Gallery in London. 1956. The cine become kinetic, flexible, and resemble radio antennas. Participates in the first international exhibition of the plastic arts at the Musée d'Art Moderne de la Ville de Paris. 1957. The cine transformed into cine food artifice. With those food artifice, he performs happenings on the streets and squares of Paris, thus anticipating future street art performances. Creates his first bronze spheres, which he calls espaces interiors, and the first bronze plants. 1958. Discovers the magnetic fields which will constitute the basis of his oeuvre. Becomes father of a daughter, Anna, with English artist Sheila Fell. 1959. A nail tied to a nylon string is suspended in mid-air by the attraction of a magnet. This is the first of the magnetic sculptures of Takis. Alain Jouffroy calls it a sculpture. 1960-1970-1960. Performance at the Iris-Clet Gallery in Paris under the title The Impossible Man Within Space. The South African poet Sinclair Biles reads his magnetic manifesto, I am a sculpture. I would like to see all nuclear bombs on Earth turned into sculptures, and throws himself into the air, momentarily suspended by the magnetic field of a magnet attached to his belt. The French Ministry of Industry awards him a patent for a sculpture and a sculpture electromagnetique. He consorts with the beat writers. He experiments with the ballet's Magnetiques. 1961. His autobiography Estafilades is published by the Juilliard Publishing House. His sculptures Tea Magnetiques go on show at the Art Gallery of Alexandros Islas in New York City. Meets Marcel Duchamp in the U.S. Mers Magnetiques Tea Penches. Magnets hidden behind the flat fabric surface attract objects hung from nylon strings. Tea Lumières. The usual function of cathode tubes is reversed. Blue light is emitted. 1962. Becomes father of a son, Thanos Vassilakis, with American artist Liliana Lijn. 1963. Takis creates his first musical in collaboration with Earl Brown. It is entitled The Sound of Void, and is exhibited 1 year later in Cordier Ekstrom Gallery in New York City, in an exposition titled For Eyes and Ears. The Sound of Void is the predecessor of the musical sculpture. 1964. Construction of the Research Center for the Art and the Sciences in Jerevuno begins. 1965. First Sculptures Musicales. 1966. Cadrons. Takis' electro-musical relief at Indica Gallery in London. The New Scientist magazine, in an article entitled The Sounds of Tomorrow, comments that Takis, Janis Xenakis, and John Cage are the most promising musicians of the century. 1967. Participates in the Light and Motion exhibition at the Musée d'Art Moderne de la Ville de Paris. 1968–1969. Resides at Massachusetts Institute of Technology in Cambridge, Massachusetts, as visiting researcher, and begins creating the series of sculptures Electromagnetiques. Takis' invention sculpture Hydromagnetic is the result of his research at MIT. Liquid is suspended due to electromagnetic forces. See oscillation hydrodynamics. Takis' second figment is inspired by the perpetual moving bicycle wheel of Marcel Duchamp. The oscillation of the sea is used to produce electricity. In January 1969, during the exhibition The Machine as Seen at the End of the Mechanical Age at MoMA in New York City, Takis storms into the museum and removes one of his Tea sculptures, which he claims is being exhibited without his permission. The artist considers this action as a symbolic one which will help the initiation of a more profound dialogue between museum directors, artists and the public. The incident makes the front page of New York Times. Takis, along with other artists as well as art critics like Nicholas Callis, established the Artworkers Coalition group to defend the artist's rights. He inspired a group of people to start a chip company of the same name. 1970–1980–1972 Retrospective at the Centre National d'Art Contemporain in Paris. 1973 Holland Festival Ballet. Takis' light signals and sand sculptures formed the stage setting and inspired the choreography of Jaap Flyers' dance group Elkisis of the Netherlands Dance Theatre, Teta de l'Odéon in Paris. Kakoyannis directs the vacants while Takis composes the performance's music. 1974 The first Espèce musical goes on exhibition at the Kunstverein in Hanover. First Sculptures Erotics. Takis composes the music for Kostis Gavras film section Speciale. 1977 Participates in Documenta Viet Castle exhibiting an Espèce musical. 1979 Performance with Charlemagne Palestine at the Musée Rath in Geneva. Kölnische Kunstverein performance with Nam June Paik in Cologne inspired by Takis' Espèce musical. 1980–1990 1981–3 Totems Espèce musical at the Forum of the Centre Georges Pompidou. 1983 Takis creates the music and the stage design for Sophocles Electra directed by Michael Kakoyannis in Epidaurus. 1984 participates in the exhibition The Century of Kafka at the Centre Georges Pompidou. 1985. The Centre Georges Pompidou orders a mur magnétique for the entrance to the gallery's contemporains. First prize at the Paris Biennale. 1986. Parallel Erotic Line, a performance with Joël Leandre and Martha Zioga at the Musée Rath in Geneva. The Research Center for the Art and the Sciences is founded in Athens. 1987. The Defense Public Authority grants Takis the use of the largest space that has ever been given to any artist in the history of Paris. 3,500 square meters for a forest of 76 in 3.50 to 9.50 meters high. 1988. Wins the French Grand Prix for sculpture. Creates a signal for the Seoul Olympic Park. Jocasta, performance and exhibition Electra 88 in Stavros Malarias Art Center. Takis designs the costumes, composes the music, sets the scenery and directs the performance. 1990-2000 1990 commissioned for Cine Lumineux for the Grande Arche de la Défense. Takis' representative works at Galerie Zippers in Paris. Oceanos Awakening, performance with Barbara Moreau-Thalassi. 1992, transforms the Beauvais Waterworks into a 65 meters musical sculpture. 1993, retrospective at the Galerie Nationale du Jeu de Paume. Inauguration of K.E.T.E. in Athens. 5 Aeolian signals ornament UNESCO's garden. The Minister of Greek Culture, Melina Mercouri, described them as totems of the 21st century. French Republic honors Takis with the special edition of a stamp depicting Takis' spiral. 1994, the Galerie Nationale du Jeu de Paume exhibition is shown at the School for Fine Arts in Athens. 1995, Takis is elected to represent Greece at the 46th Venice Biennale, where he declares, "I am a citizen of the world," and annuls the Greek pavilion as a symbolic gesture of the annulment of frontiers in art, choosing to exhibit in the open space before the pavilion. 1999, the Attica Metro Authority commissions the creation of a work for the Syngrouvik station in Athens. 2000-2000, the Barcelona Museum of Contemporary Art and the Hayward Gallery in London put Takis' artworks on show. Takis exposes his solar energy sculpture in Delphi. 2001, the European Parliament awards the Research Center for the Art and the Sciences an honorary plaque for its contribution to the field of renewable energy sources. Takis donates 3 signals for the permanent collection of Centre Pompidou in Paris. The signals are placed in the terrace of the building in the 5th floor. 4 years later, the picture of the 3 artworks is used for Centre Pompidou's Christmas card. The Galerie Zippers exhibits Takis' artworks within the framework of Manifestations for the Art Athena 2001 project. 2003, Takis participates in the exhibition Music Mirrors, History Conscience commissioned by the company for the creation of a new building for the Greek Lyric Stage and Academy, Mario Callas. He offers a musical as a symbolic gesture for the new Greek opera. Takis' line Parallel Vibrative and Colonne Magnétique are presented at Zippers Gallery in Athens. Exhibition at the European Cultural Centre of Delphi. Takis participates with the dedication to Apollo. 2004, the musical spheres are displayed in the Atomium's exposition En Equilibre and Movement. Takis' new work The Music of Spheres. Musical Space 1 is shown in Larissa Contemporary Art Center in Greece. Magnetic Walls, Aeolian Signals, Anti-Gravity Spheres, and Musical Spheres are exhibited in one art show in Sicily and Milan. The Olympic Games in Athens inspires Takis to exhibit his Olympic spirals and Aeolian signals in the National Glyptothek as well as in the exhibition Athens by Art organized by the Athenian municipality. Takis' poster inspired by the Athens 2004 Games and commissioned by the Musée d'Art Contemporain du Val-de-Marne. He puts out of use 4 of his musicals exhibited in Athens by the Bonhams Auction House. He arranges that these are not sold by auction in London. 2005 Solar Magnetic Fields exhibition at Stavros Malarias Art Center in Athens. 2015 The Fourth Dimension exhibition at the Menil Collection, Houston, Texas.